The first house you lived in apparently didn't have electricity, didn't have an indoor bathroom. Describe what your first home was like when you were growing up.
Well, it wasn't. I was born in the country, lived with my grandmother early on. My grandmother's house had like a small farm. Then we moved to another place where, more or less what you said, it was a big village. There was 8 houses, as you say. No indoor toilets and things. And I don't remember when we had electricity or not. Certainly we didn't in my grandmother's house, but maybe later on we did.
I think it was 1936, your family moves to a home in Baum Alley on the outskirts of London. How concerned were you guys at that time about the potential of an air raid?
Quite excited about the whole thing. It was all different. And when the war was on, because of a lot of bombing and where we lived, every night there was air raids and things. So we lived in an air raid shelter. So
in your garden, right? You had a...
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like everyone did these days.
Was it scary?
Well, probably not for me. Probably for my parents were a bit more concerned because they understood. But I suppose me, as a kid, it was just very exciting. In the morning, we used to go and pick up the bits of the bombs and things. So it was...
Your dad, at least for part of your childhood, was a fisherman. I understand it was your mom, in terms of your parents, that would kind of manage the family money. What do you think your frugal upbringing taught you about money and savings as you grew up?
I think basically if you want to get something, you better go out on your own and get it, rather than inherit money. I mean, I feel sorry for my kids. They're lucky enough although both the girls really and truly now are running reasonably good businesses, so they are getting on with things.
What makes you feel sorry for them?
Well, the fact that they didn't have to start early days in the same way. Better they had it done.
What led you to selling cakes and buns in school when you were younger?
Well, where I lived, and I used to go to a polytechnic, closer to London, and I used to go up by train, and very early go to a shop because everything was rationed, and buy all the cakes and buns I could at the shop in a suitcase, take them into the school, in the break period, sell them.
Just trying to make kind of an extra buck?
Well, I never had any bucks in the first place to make extra, so it was to make money.